here with you today for another video, out in the cold, as my hands lose their color, and I revel in my capacity to suffer while still enjoying myself. So let me talk to you today about possession. And I don't mean angels and demons, for these to me are but metaphors for forces which are in our eyes in the paradigm of good and bad. When I say possession, I mean inspiration. Inspire taken from the word spirit, to be inspirited. So what is it to be inspirited, to be possessed? Well, we have these things which we believe that we own. We call them possessions. To be in temporary ownership of, to be possessed. Now you may see that to possess something is to be possessed by something. There is no domination. It is a relationship of codependent ownership. If I possess a book, then I must read it. Otherwise, I must feel guilty for not having done so. I must feel upset for not having had the time. If I possess a pen, I must write with it. And in writing, I'm lost to myself, taken away from this mortal form into the realm of fiction, the realm of image. Perhaps the channel thoughts which I cannot call my own. When we dream, do we do this consciously of our own intent? No. It is possible to dream lucidly. But even in a lucid dream, we are not in control of others. We are only in control of ourselves, to a degree. And in lucid dreaming, it is possible to not control others, but to help others control themselves by way of words, by way of actions, feelings, body language, and different things. And lucid dreaming is actually a very important part of the human experience. And I'll get back to possession in just a moment. But the way that dreaming works as our innate human gift. At first, we are asleep. Second, we awaken in our dreams, in lucidity. Third, we awaken asleep into reality. And fourth, we awaken into reality with the power to change it. Now back to possession. If I'm inspired by something, I'm possessed by that something. So, whether it's an emotion of love that inspires me to kiss someone I care about, whether it is the inspiration of panic which causes me to flee from a wild animal, whether it is the inspiration of sitting, meditating, doing nothing, when such an idea comes into my head that I feel that I must put it down onto paper, These things are possession. Now we can be possessed by many, many things, and sometimes these things can cause us to do disastrous things. Things that might severely negatively impact us, even though others might be able to learn from it. They say you have to learn from mistakes, but they don't have to be your own. So, what then is the sense of repeating mistakes that have already happened many times over for thousands and thousands of years? This is why history, why story is so important. Because if we can empathize with the mistakes of others and learn what they learned, then we don't have to suffer through them. Now, there's a particular case in which a woman owns a home, and perhaps upon her divorce, she realizes that, and she loves this home, that she will not be able to make her payments. And confronted with the fear of whatever else she might have to do to make those payments, she decides to convince her daughter that she has terminal cancer, to shave her head, to force her to sit in a wheelchair, to bind her breasts to make her less attractive so that no one might be interested in her enough to pull her out of this illusion. And what happens is this mother gets fundraising money from her little girl who's perfectly healthy, and she uses this to make the payments on her home. Was this necessary? No. What happened in this case is this woman, and this was a real thing that happened, this woman was possessed by the belief that she needed her home, that it was her home, and that she needed it at all costs. And so she was possessed by the desperate clinging to this home enough to destroy her own daughter's life. In another case, men traveled to a deep lake which the voyageurs had crossed. And if you know about the voyageurs, you'll know that they had a very strenuous, arduous, torturous journey, which they made all the same. But these particular men were obsessed with the idolizing of the voyageurs. They wanted to replicate the voyageurs' journey. And so what they did is they took some blue canoes, war canoes, filled them with children, and they took these children out onto this dangerous lake with no experience, and subsequently a large portion of these children ended up dead. These men were possessed with a story, the idolization of those who fought against suffering and prevailed, although many of the voyageurs did not prevail. These men were also possessed by the belief that that's how life is. Some people die, some people live, and they're better for it. And because of that blind, dogmatic obsession, these men were possessed to take these children, somewhat against their will, to their deaths. Now, people can be possessed by scarcity, they can be possessed by hunger, by lust, by anger, by morality, by the desire for happiness, the desire to avoid unhappiness. People can be possessed by a vision, which they feel they must bring into reality at all costs. People can be possessed by the need to look after their family, which causes them to put their family's needs above their own and commit what in one way is a heroic act and in one way is a great sacrifice. We're possessed by our alarm clock when we wake up in the morning. We're possessed by the life path that we think we should take, by the feeling of cold and the fear that we might succumb to it. We're possessed by something in every single moment. So, you might ask, if we're always possessed, then what is the point of it? Do we not have free will? But you see, once again with perspective, the knowledge that you must always be possessed by something gives you the power to notice when something is possessing you and to decide whether you believe it serves you or not. And if you believe it doesn't serve you, simply let it out with the wind and be gone with it. Let something else in. And if you don't like what comes in its stead, let it go. Let it go. You see, we may not have a choice whether we are possessed or not. But upon noticing, we have a choice whether we allow an individual thing to possess us. And before noticing, we have a choice to decide whether or not we want to notice. And if we want to notice, then perhaps we will. And if we notice, then we can choose which possesses us. Or at least we can choose what we do not wish to possess us. The wonder being that whatever comes is wrapped in serendipity, in synchronicity. And even those things which we do not want inside of us allow us the paradigm between what we do not want and what we do want. And in having what we do want as opposed to what we do not want, we have the opportunity for gratitude. And if we're possessed by gratitude, if we're possessed by love, by the feeling of abundance that comes with being surrounded by an infinite world where the wealth of beauty, of space, of people is all around us, if we can be possessed by gratitude, then perhaps we may even become possessed by our deeper selves. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Until next time, this is whoever I am saying, let life take you. Because, as we might discover, all is in balance. And if we can be grateful for the good, that's easy. If we can be grateful for the bad, that's a little harder. But I think you'll find those things which are hard can be some of those